Yeah. Very good evening. You're watching India Today Social Media. I'm Nabila Jamal, getting you the roundup of the day's news. Let me start with the entire bulldozer tamasha that happened in Delhi's Jahangirpuri. So, what happened yesterday, of course, a quick glimpse. 9 bulldozers by the Delhi Municipal Corporation, the civic body, reached the Jahangirpuri area, which was violence hit. Communal clashes had occurred on the 16th of April. The same area, bulldozers came in and demolished a series of shops along a mosque, exactly where the riots broke out. Of course, there was a huge hue and cry broke out over whether the MCD carried out this demolition drive legally, whether notices were issued to those people, whether they were alerted before this demolition took place. As per protocol, any civic body demolishing any illegal encroachment need to be given a notice at least 15 days in advance. So there was a huge outcry over MCD carrying out this demolition drive arbitrarily. But and then the matter went to Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court immediately ordered a stay over this demolition drive, and still an hour and a half later it still continued, and finally an hour and a half later the demolition drive stopped. So a lot of allegations against the civic body of Delhi, saying that they did it with malicious intent and that they could have had a communal color while targeting the Jahangirpuri area, which had has come out of fresh communal clashes, and it's still very sensitive. At a time of that sensitivity, here was a demolition drive that was carried out. Obviously, questions being raised. Then the Supreme Court, in fact, heard petitions today in court, petitions accusing the MCD, saying that, while there are encroachments all over the state of Delhi, the Jahangirpuri area itself, where the riots broke out, was where the MCD arrived, literally caught the people unaware early in the morning and carried this demolition drive, targeting one particular community, which is a Muslim community. The petition further says, dare the MCD touch any property in South Delhi? Will they ever target a property in Golf Links or Chhatarpur Farms or Sainik Farms, any illegal establishments there? Will the Municipal Corporation of Delhi ever touch these properties? Why target the poor? This is what the petition lists out. There were a couple of petitions, about 4 petitions that were filed by different parties. When I say parties, one resident, one advocate, a politician as well as one leader from the CPIM. These are petitions collectively that the Supreme Court was hearing, while in fact the crux of the hearing today in the court was that one particular community was targeted. So while the arguments happened in court, it was a very quick hearing in court about this. While petitioners said that one community has been extensively targeted, not just in Delhi, but also similar trends of bulldozing illegal structures happened in riot-hit areas of Madhya Pradesh, of Uttar Pradesh, and of Gujarat, all the 3 BJP-ruled states. And here too in Delhi, the civic body is led by the BJP. So this was a BJP's attack on the minorities. That's what the petition reads out. The Supreme Court and the government lawyer, of course, argued, saying that this is just a way for politicians to gain brownie points, and they're trying to communalize the anti-encroachment drive, which is a routine drive. What the government lawyer also further said, that the Jahangirpuri area itself saw demolition drive happening since January 4 times already. So this is not targeting a particular community and has nothing to do with the communal riots that broke out. It was a routine demolition drive. So clearly questions again which the Supreme Court will want to know is that it was fresh out of a communal violence, that area, and since it was sensitive, what was the need to come in and carry out a demolition drive at that time? And then again allegations that only the mosque was touched, shops aligning the mosques, many of the shops that were aligned with the mosque was touched. The mosque gate and the mosque wall was demolished. Why was the temple, which is right beside, which also has some kind of encroachments that stretches towards the Nala, that was not touched? The temple was not touched. All the shops aligning the temple was not touched. So was this a deliberate targeting of a particular community? So now the Supreme Court, of course, even as the MCT tries to justify about the notices part, MCD says that notices need not be given to illegal establishments. If it's illegal, they have all the right to raise it down. That's what the MCD says. So a lot of technicalities that the Supreme Court will look into, and now the Supreme Court says that at least for 2 weeks, suo motu status will remain. Therefore, no demolition will be carried out for 2 weeks. Once the Supreme Court hears the matter fully, only then will it decide. But while the hearing was happening, Supreme Court also observed that, speaking about minority community being targeted, in Madhya Pradesh, while there was a demolition drive that was carried out in Khargo area after the communal riots, the Supreme Court reminded the petitioners that there were 80 odd houses of Hindus that were destroyed and about 28 odd houses of Muslims that were destroyed. So it's not like the minority community alone was being targeted. Even Hindus have lost their property in this drive, the demolition drive, and even in Delhi, in fact, while aligned with the mosque, there were a couple of Hindu shops as well that were also demolished, which were said to be illegal. So a lot of deliberations that the court needs to look into as the hearing continues 2 weeks later. But for now, it seems like there's some respite to people of Jahangirpuri who were really anxious about this demolition drive to, that it would continue, but now it's a stop on it. So while that said, you're looking at politics speaking on the same. We're looking at Congress leaders. Ajay Makin, he led the Congress delegation. A couple of Congress leaders literally swamped in Jahangirpuri, tried to meet with the locals and discuss with them, take cognizance, assess the situation, accuse the BJP of targeting a community, of trying to arbitrarily demolish buildings because they just wanted to take revenge over the communal clashes that broke out, etc. So the Congress, while there, also accused the Aam Aadmi Party, saying that Aam Aadmi Party is the government ruling Delhi, governing Delhi, and not one Aam Aadmi Party leader reached the Jahangirpuri area to console those people who have lost their homes and their businesses, or even to assess the situation post the communal riots. So Congress, of course, accused Arvind Kejriwal of being opportunistic and not arriving at the spot and taking cognizance. While all that said, and of course, BJP also came under fire by the Congress. BJP calls this political tourism, that yeah, this is a riot-hit area, communally sensitive, can't expect better from parties like the Congress, etc., to come in and take a look at the situation like as if it's a tourist spot. So BJP has been brushing off all those allegations that this is communally colored, and they've been maintaining that this is just an anti-encroachment drive. Don't try to communalize it. Don't play the Muslim victim card here. It is just a demolition drive, an anti-encroachment drive, which is a routine process by the MCD time and again. But again, raises questions, because a day before the demolition drive, BJP's chief of Delhi, Adesh Gupta, sent a letter to the MCD saying that, like other states did, MCD also should think about demolishing those structures of stone pelters in the Jahangirpuri area. In fact, we know, like I said, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, stone pelters and those who created riots in those areas, the pockets of those states, their houses were demolished by bulldozers. And that's why Yogi Adityanath got the name as Bulldozer Baba. So Delhi chief of BJP wrote a letter to MCD a day before the demolition drive, asking the MCD to demolish those stone pelters' homes and businesses, claiming it to be on encroached land. So right after that letter came in, the MCD the following day was supposed to carry out the demolition drive at 2 p.m. But it appears that they may have been alerted that the matter would go to the Supreme Court, and there could be a stay that was ordered, that could be ordered. And in anticipation to that, the MCD preponed the demolition drive to 9 a.m. So literally at least 3 to 4 hours prior, it was when the demolition drive was that they carried out, almost anticipating that the Supreme Court could step in and stop this. So again, like I said, raises questions time and again on the intention of the MCD itself for carrying out this demolition drive, as much as they justify this to be a routine drive. So now the Supreme Court has asked, while they've given 2 weeks for the matter to be heard, the Supreme Court has in the meanwhile asked for the centre, the Delhi government, the Delhi police, as well as the petitioners now to come out with affidavit, to file affidavit on this case. Well, we're looking at the politics, of course, like I said, peaking on this, but nonetheless, for now, it's a respite for residents of Jahangirpuri. In the meanwhile, violence of Jahangirpuri, the communal violence that broke out there, the Delhi police has found there are at least 20 gangsters who are part of that communal clashes, and those 20 gangsters, many of them, almost all of the 20, they're hardcore criminals, have cases behind them. Many of them have already served jail term in the Tihar jail, and weapons were being used. They were being sold in the area for 10,000 rupees to minors. So Delhi police is now trying to understand if these 20 odd people who are hardcore criminals, who are part of those clashes in Delhi's Jahangirpuri area, whether they were in touch with the accused Ansar. Ansar is the main accused here in this case. So CCTV footage is being looked into, and we're looking at about 300 miscreants is what the Delhi police has zeroed in on, and they're now carrying out raids to nab these alleged rioters. Now, while all of this happens, you have BJP MP Pratap Simha. Again, let me tell you, BJP is saying don't communalize the MCD's demolition drive because it is a routine anti-encroachment drive. While that said, you have independent voices coming from the BJP making comments which almost then again alludes to the fact that the demolition drive was carried out in deliberate attempt as revenge to the riots. Because now, just yesterday, let me tell you the latest. Today, Pratap Simha, BJP MP, says that those who riot will have bulldozers against them. He says that the bulldozers will roll if Muslims pelt stones. This is exact words of Pratap Simha, saying bulldozers will roll if Muslims pelt stone. And Pratap Simha also further goes on to say, do not try to teach us secularism, especially Muslims living in India should learn to gel with people of other communities, so don't teach us about secularism. If Muslims pelt stones, then bulldozers will roll over them. So on one hand, you have the BJP saying this has the demolition drive has nothing to do with violence, while you have Pratap Simha, BJP MP itself, saying that if stones are pelted, if Muslims pelt stones, then bulldozers will roll on them. While this said, Narasimha Rao, GV Narasimha Rao, who's again was a former minister of the BJP, he's a national spokesperson of the BJP. Narasimha Rao put out a picture of the JCB with an abbreviation. He almost says that JCB is equal to Jihad Control Board. So on one hand, you have BJP saying that this is a routine anti-encroachment drive. On the other hand, here are independent comments coming in from BJP leaders that almost indicate that this was certainly revenge taken on the Muslims, particularly for the communal riots that happened in Jahangirpuri. All right, that's that. On that, a quick word on Boris Johnson, who's currently in India. The UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson is looking at trade deals with India at this point. We're looking at a deal up to £1 billion. £1 billion that could be struck between the two countries. So Boris Johnson has met with businessman Gautam Adani. In fact, Johnson is right now in Gujarat, the first Prime Minister of United Kingdom to visit Gujarat, Prime Minister Modi's home state, and he also visited the Sabarmati ashram. In fact, Johnson was he tried his hand at the charkha. He remembered Mahatma Gandhi. He tried his hands at the charkha. So good visuals that came in. It was quite interesting to see a UK Prime Minister really trying to get a sense of India firsthand. And he started with Gujarat, Prime Minister's home state. So the Prime Minister has discussed with businessman Gautam Adani about this £1 billion commercial deal, and that would mean it would create almost 11,000 jobs for India, which is a great move. Let's hope it does happen as per plan. So this comes in the sectors of energy and defence, along with health, software and engineering. These are the sectors that UK is now looking to collaborate with India. He's also UK Prime Minister is meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi tomorrow in Delhi. So further to try and strengthen bilateral ties between India and United Kingdom. And this is significant because this is the first visit of Prime Minister of United Kingdom after COVID-19 hit. It's been 2 years since Boris Johnson had to come. It kept, it kept getting postponed because of the pandemic. He's now finally here. And this is also amid the war on Ukraine. So in the midst of the war, here is the UK Prime Minister in India. It really speaks volumes. A quick word on Russia and Ukraine war. We're looking at over close to 2 months and the war doesn't seem to end, but it has come as a huge win for Russia today, as Russia has declared that they've taken complete control of the port city of Mariupol, very strategic port city of Mariupol, which gives access for Russia to the Sea of Azov, which is again very closely linked to the Donetsk and Luhansk region, which is exactly what Russia wants to liberate. So this is an entire region by the Sea of Azov Azov that Russia seems to have already closed in on. So with complete control of Mariupol, it seems like this is the first win in this entire 2-month war for Russia, which they can really claim victory for. But I did speak to the Russian state media journalist Tatiana. She says that, well, I asked her about whether Russia regrets civilian casualties. They say, she says on behalf of the Russian government that Russia regrets the deaths, but Russia is not responsible for the civilian killings. It is Ukraine who's orchestrated it and designed this entire, mass massacre to blame it on Russia. This blame game has been on, but it's unfortunate that amidst this blame shifting, you have innocent civilians who are losing lives. Thousands and thousands of them. It's just miserable to see how Ukraine has been completely blown out. Even though Russia has not made significant progress, Mariupol is the first win, but yet Ukraine has been completely bombed out. Many key cities, top cities of Ukraine have been completely brought down to rubble. Yeah, that's it. On a final note, we're looking at Netflix. Netflix worldwide has lost close to 200,000 subscribers. It's a big blow for Netflix between the Jan and March quarter for the first time in years since they started. So what Netflix claims is that this could be because of password sharing, that if I have an account, then my friends don't need to subscribe to another account, right? They can use my password and open their account from wherever they are. So Netflix is now mulling over, to try and control password sharing option for subscribers, so that they can of course earn more subscribers in the process. Or if at all if you can still benefit from sharing password, then is there a way to earn more revenues? Are they looking at advertisements? In fact, that's one thing that they're mulling over. Advertisements in Netflix. That's one thing that we loved Netflix for, that they never had ads to disrupt you or disturb you or distract you. But it could be very possible that advertisements now can soon come on Netflix. So yeah, that's quite embarrassing for Netflix undoubtedly, because their whole pitch, their USP itself was ad-free content. So it's going to be a real setback for Netflix, but they're trying ways to earn back their lost glory.